Hey guys, my name is Bando, this is Brexit Bando, and I've just been asked to take a look at this and to make a comment on it. I was passed a video by Discourse Managers, of Discourse Managers, discussing this article on the Bell of Lost Souls, and it's a little bit of an older article now. It came out at the end of last year, and it's basically titled "Third-Party Miniatures Are Ruining the Game for Warhammer." So it's a really hyperbolic title, and the long and short of the entire article is that basically people creating third-party miniatures caused Games Workshop to overcompensate and basically clamp down on what could be used in their game. And then they had a follow-up article shortly after where they were like, hey, how can we make it better? And I'll get into that in a second. So this already started a couple of years back when Chapter House was taken to court by Games Workshop. Chapter House was a third-party bits manufacturer who made parts that people wanted. If you wanted, say, special and heavy weapons, if you wanted shoulder pads, heads, loincloths, Storm Raven conversion kits, anything you really wanted, you could get from a third-party bit seller. And Games Workshop was like, no, we don't like this, you're our competition, we're going to take legal action against you. And the courts basically went, hey, you can't copyright the shape of a shoulder pad, you can't copyright the word Warhammer, you can't copyright halberd or armour. I don't even think they let them have Space Marine in the end, which is why Primaris Space Marine came out. And it is why Games Workshop shifted from having things like the Imperial Guard to the Astra Militarum, a nonsense made-up word in Pig Latin. It's because these made-up things are something completely unique that Games Workshop can copyright and trademark. To an extent, this article is on point. Yes, Games Workshop has overcorrected and within their right is defending their IP. They want everyone to shop at them, which as a business is what you're supposed to do. As a business, you are not supposed to welcome competition, really. You are supposed to create a product and dominate the market. The problem is, Games Workshop has had a monopoly over the Warhammer hobby, and this is where they've made their first mistake. They branded themselves away from wargaming. They went, we're not wargaming, we're Warhammer. This is the Warhammer hobby. Well, you've become the big fish in that pond. You're the only person creating official Warhammer. Well, now you've got competition. And the problem is that Games Workshop didn't service the community, did not service their customer base. You see, what you want to do as a business is to provide the best product and or service to your customer for a price that is acceptable to them, that covers your costs, plus a little bit extra so that you can expand, pay your staff well, and live off the money. That's the basis of capitalism. If you are the only company in there and no one else is competing with you, you stagnate. You get greedy. You maybe pump the prices up for a product you've already released. And you don't have to innovate because who's your competition? No one. I rule this entire space. So in reality, what's happened here is Games Workshop overcompensating has created more competition. Because now they don't just have Chapter House creating plasma guns to use in Warhammer 40,000. Now they have people like Gates of Antares and One Page of Rules creating entire games that are being written by former Games Workshop staff members that are being marketed to Games Workshop fans. And suddenly you're getting a lot of crossover because you're getting a lot of angry Games Workshop people or former Warhammer players who are coming out and going, hey, I've been playing this game, you can use your existing miniatures and play the game as well. The games are smaller, the games are faster, the game is better. So they're going over to their friend's house and they're going, let's try these rules. And instead of being a 3-hour slogfest with like 16 books, it's one book, and the game's over in 45 minutes. And both sides had fun, because the armies were balanced. So, this really backfired on them, because they wanted to try and dominate the market, when in reality what Games Workshop should have done is they should have dominated the market. And you do that by providing the service. You see, if Games Workshop came out and said, hey, here's a 20-man tactical squad with all the options that you can take in a 30k tactical squad in the box for a price that is reasonable, and it's in stock, they'd sell them. They'd sell them, and they'd sell a lot of them. If they came out and they produced an assault squad with the same options, they'd sell a lot of them. If they sold packs of special weapons, which, hey, they did, and what happened? They sold them. Lots of them. You know? Spartans. People wanted Spartans, but Spartans were too expensive. They were over £100 for a single tank. So they did it in plastic. And people bought a lot of them. You know, if Games Workshop wants to do something mad, they'd cater to the community's wants. For example, the community wants Mark II and Mark V Space Marines at the moment. Those are things that I see on a daily basis that people are asking for. So they come along and they release a, I don't know, Mark V Assault Squad in plastic, 10 man, throw it out there and watch them fly off the shelves, because they will fly off the shelves, pun intended, but they'll fly off the shelves. If Games Workshop then decided, actually, we don't want to sell assault squads, we're going to keep them in the rules, but we're not going to sell them, where do people get them from? You know, I don't want, say, Mark 6. I don't want resin. How do I get plastic assault squads? Well, I can't get them from 40k anymore because they've been discontinued. So now I have to buy from a third-party source. I have to buy 3D printed parts. I have to buy recast parts. I have to buy second-hand for the stuff that's no longer produced, which is now increasing in value because people are addicted to Games Workshop products and pay over the, odds for them. It's ridiculous. He does even cover this. It fills a niche where sought-after weapon options were hard to get, etc., etc. He knows why people went to third-party bit sellers. But this article is so defensive of Games Workshop, and so is the second one. I mean, this one is like, hey, we should only play tournaments, and there should be prizes to make people go, and miniatures only available at these tournaments. Fuck right off. I couldn't stand to go to a tournament. No, thank you. I don't want to stand there. I don't want to be in a room full of those people. I can smell that picture. I don't want to go anywhere near Warhammer World when that's going on. Okay, I know I go on it a lot, but I'm on the spectrum. I don't do well in large groups of people with a lot of noise. So when I play Warhammer, it's in like a village hall with like 10 people tops around me. I need to be able to sit down. I've got injured feet. I've got pallenza fasciitis. I've got tears in the tendons of both my feet, so I'm in agony at all time when I'm standing. So I like to sit down when I play. Can't. Doesn't look like there's enough room there. They've packed everyone in. I don't want to pay to play Warhammer. I'm not paying you a ticket to go to your tournament. And I don't want to go to a tournament that's going to be full of sweat lords. And I don't mean that because of the, hygiene. I mean sweat lords like the guys that go, hey, can I fit 19 Spartans in this list? Or 600 las cannons? Probably. Oh, and we get to the end of turn one. I mean, some of us have played Magic the Gathering. You know those kinds of people that you play one card and then suddenly they queue 15 cards up and you can't do anything. Fuck it, I don't want to play those sorts of people. I especially don't want to pay to play those sorts of people. And if you've got some sort of limited edition prize that only can be won at this event, any sort of miniature prize, these people are going to go full on Sweatlord. This is like full on PvP scenario. And you know that miniature is probably going to go on eBay for 500 quid. Whereas I just post it to Russia and say, hey, feel free to just copy this. So this is a bit ridiculous. It's an older article now, so it's not really a current thing. It's just, it was sent to me. Competition is better. Competition is healthier for us as a community. Competition is healthier for us as fans. It is healthier for the game. Because if one-page rules, Gates of Antares, Dead Zone, Infinity, Bolt Action, all the other tabletop games out there, if they keep pulling people away and keep driving people into those hobbies, Games Workshop has to adapt, otherwise they lose people. Or probably what's going to happen is they're just going to move out of the industry. They'll get rid of the miniatures, they'll stop doing that, and they'll just move over to doing licensing. Because that's what they appear to be doing at the moment anyway. But the last thing I want to say is here, this guy is in Austin, Texas, and if you know anything about Austin, Texas, it explains 100% this bootlicking milquetoast take. So, yeah. Pfft. This is crap. These people are crap. Keep supporting whoever the hell you want to support. I don't care if third-party miniatures crush Games Workshop. It needs crushing these days. Apologies if you're in Austin and you're not an absolute cuck. Get out of Austin. Go to Bernie instead. So yeah, go and buy third-party miniatures, buy your 3D printed miniatures, buy your recast miniatures, buy your second-hand miniatures, make your own miniatures. You know, they were talking about that on the other day, where they were like, oh, you can only have it if you make it. Learn the skills, do it, become self-sufficient when it comes to this hobby. Because 3D sculpting is not as hard as you think it is. Right. I don't know if that was really over the top or anything. But yeah, Spill asked for it and Spill got the video, so there you go, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Thanks for all the comments in the videos. As always, I love you guys. Stay cool, and yeah, check out the description for Element game codes. All right, have a great one. Bye bye.